My name is Harlan Busby. I am a 71-year-old wheat and soybean farmer from Salina, Kansas. My family has worked this land for 4 generations. I do not use complicated words. I do not trust things I cannot hold in my hands or see with my own eyes. I have spent my entire life reading weather, soil, and seasons, and I have been wrong enough times to stay humble about all 3. On a Thursday morning in November, my heart stopped in my own wheat field for 12 minutes. And what Jesus showed me about March 15th through 31st, seniors are not ready. Please subscribe to this channel. What I was shown is too important to keep on a farm in Kansas. Let me tell you what November looks like on a wheat farm in central Kansas. The summer crops are in. The combines have been cleaned and stored. The winter wheat that was planted in October is just starting to show its first grain above the soil line, thin, tentative, remarkably determined for something so small pushing through cold ground. November on a farm is not a rest. It is a different kind of work. Maintenance work. The kind that doesn't produce anything immediately visible, but that determines whether everything else will function when it's needed. I was out in the south field at 7:40 in the morning. My farmhand Deke was supposed to meet me at 8 to help check the irrigation lines along the field's eastern edge. He is 26 and reliable in the way young people who grew up farming are reliable, which means he would be there at 8 or he would have called by 7:50. I got there early the way I always do. Not because I distrust people, but because early is how I was raised and early is how I have operated for 71 years, and at this point it is less a habit than a bone structure. The morning was cold. Clear. The specific Kansas cold that doesn't apologize for itself. Not cruel, but not gentle either. The sky was the particular blue that only appears in November when the summer haze is completely gone and the air has nothing left to hide. I stood at the edge of the south field looking at the winter wheat coming up. For generations of my family had stood at this edge and looked at this same sight. Good stand, I said out loud. To nobody. To the field. To my father, who had been gone 11 years and who I still talked out here where nobody could hear me. And then the morning changed. I had driven out on the old Deere, the 1972 model that my father bought the year I turned 18 and that I have kept running through a combination of mechanical stubbornness and parts sourced from 3 different states. My son Garrett has been telling me to retire that tractor for 6 years. Dad, it's 50 years old, he said last spring, leaning against the barn door with his arms crossed the way he does when he has decided something and is waiting for me to come around. So am I, almost, I said. You going to retire me too? He made a sound that was equal parts exasperation and affection. It's a liability, he said. It works, I said. Things that work don't get replaced just because they're old. He knew better than to continue. 71 years of Kansas stubbornness is not a condition that responds to logic after a certain point. I had driven the Deere to the south field and parked it at the field's edge. The walk to the irrigation checkpoint was about a quarter mile. I had walked it hundreds of times. That morning I walked it thinking about the wheat stand, about whether we would need supplemental fertilizer before the ground froze hard. About a conversation I'd had with my granddaughter Lily the previous Sunday. She is 14 and asks questions that are either very simple or very profound, and I cannot always tell which until I am halfway through answering. She had asked me, "Grandpa, what do you think happens after?" After what? I had said, "After everything," she said. I had given her an answer I was not entirely satisfied with. I was still turning that question over in my mind when I reached the irrigation line. And the answer arrived in a way I did not expect. I was crouching down to check a coupling joint on the irrigation line when it happened. Not pain first. That is what surprises people when I describe it. They expect the dramatic chest clutching of a man in a movie. What I felt first was a lightness. A sudden, complete lightness, as though something that had been pressing down on me from the inside had simply stopped pressing. I sat down on the ground, not because I decided to, because sitting down was what was available. The Kansas ground in November is hard, cold. It received me without ceremony, the way land does. No drama, just presence. Just the specific, reliable solidity of soil that has been here longer than any of the people who have worked it. I remember thinking, not panicking, just noticing that I could not make my body do what I was asking it to do. The sky above me was still that November blue. The winter wheat was still showing its thin green lines in the rows to my left. And somewhere in the distance, I could hear the sound of Deke's truck on the gravel road. He would be there in 4 minutes, I calculated automatically. The farmer's brain keeps working even when the body has other plans. For minutes. I looked at the sky. Lord, I said. It was not an eloquent prayer. It was the only word available. And then the sky, the wheat, the cold ground, the sound of Deke's truck, all of it stepped back. Not faded. Stepped back. The way the whole scene around a single candle flame steps back when you focus on the flame. And something else stepped forward. And I was somewhere I had not been before. And somehow I already knew it. I am going to describe this the way a farmer describes things. Not with fancy words. With the words I have for the things I know best. The best soil I have ever worked was a 40-acre section of bottomland my father acquired in 1978. Dark. Deep. The kind of soil that makes you understand why people have fought wars over land. You could push your hand into it 6 inches without resistance. It had a smell that I cannot fully describe. Alive is the closest I can come. Not decomposing. Not chemical. Alive. Like something that has everything it needs and knows it. Where I arrived felt like that soil. Not physically. There was no soil, no ground, no physical dimension in the way I understand physical dimensions. But the quality of it was the same quality as that bottomland. Rich. Complete. Alive in a way that makes you understand, standing inside it, that what you normally occupy is something considerably more depleted. I have stood in poor soil and good soil enough times to know the difference in my body. You feel the difference. Good soil has a vitality to it that transfers. You stand in it and something in you responds. When I arrived and had that quality, multiplied beyond any comparison I can make. This is good ground, I said. Not metaphorically. It was the most accurate sentence I had. The response came not as a voice yet, but as a quality of the place confirming itself, the way good soil confirms itself when you take a handful and feel what's in it. This is what all ground is trying to become, came the understanding. I stood in it and waited, and the presence arrived the way a good rain arrives on dry ground. Completely, gratefully received. I am not a complicated man about faith. I was raised Baptist in a small church outside of Salina where the preacher was my father's age and the congregation was mostly farm families who sang loudly and meant it. I believed what I was taught. I have lived what I believe to the best of my ability across 71 years imperfectly, as anyone who knew me well during certain decades could confirm. I was not prepared for the specific way the presence arrived. It arrived knowing me. Not the general knowing of a God who knows all people. The specific knowing of someone who had been paying close attention to this particular man on this particular piece of Kansas ground for 71 years. You were thinking about Lily's question, he said. That stopped me completely. Not because it was supernatural, though it was. Because it was specific. My granddaughter's question. In the field that morning. Before my heart stopped. Yes, I said. She asked what happens after everything, he said. Yes, I said. And you gave her an answer you weren't satisfied with, he said. I told her I reckoned we'd find out eventually, I said. It was the best I had. He conveyed something that I can only describe as warmth mixed with amusement mixed with genuine affection. It was honest, he said. I try to be, I said. I know, he said. 71 years. I know every acre. And there it was. Not a theological statement, a personal one. Every acre, the literal ones, the working ones, the ones I had plowed in the right direction, and the ones I had driven across badly. He knew all of them. You're going to show me something, I said. Yes, he said. Something about seniors, I said. Already feeling the direction. Something your generation needs to hear from someone they'll believe, he said. A farmer, I said. A farmer, he confirmed. He said something before he showed me anything. I want to be honest about how it landed because I think the honesty of it is the point. He said, your generation was taught to be strong. And your generation learned that lesson so completely that most of you no longer know the difference between strength and refusal. I sat with that. Refusal, I said. Refusal to need, he said. Refusal to ask. Refusal to admit that the body is changing, that the world is changing, that what worked for 50 years is not working the same way anymore. Refusal to let people in because letting people in was what the weak did and your generation was raised to be strong. That's true, I said. No argument. No defense. Just true. I was told don't complain, I said. Don't make a fuss. Handle your business and don't put it on other people. And you have lived that your whole life, he said. Yes, I said. And it served you, he said. For a long time, it was real strength, not just performance. Your generation built things and endured things because of that quality. But, I said, because I could hear the but coming the way you can hear weather changing before it arrives. But the season has changed, he said. And what was strength for the building season becomes liability in the receiving season. And your generation, almost collectively, has not made the transition. We don't know how to receive, I said. You know how to endure, he said. Receiving is a different skill. And what is coming in March 15th through 31st will require your generation to receive things they were never trained to accept. Show me what's coming, I said. And I meant it the way a farmer means it when he looks at the sky and asks what the weather is doing, ready to hear whatever the answer is. Before I show you the specific things coming, he said, I want you to understand the frame. Go ahead, I said. Your generation, he began, and by your generation, he meant the seniors. The people in their 60s, 70s, 80s who built the world that the younger generations inherited. Who worked before there were protections? Who saved before there were guarantees? Who endured without talking about it because talking about it wasn't available as an option? Your generation, he continued, is entering a window that will ask more of them than any window since the ones that define them, the war years, the hard years, the years of building from nothing. That's a significant thing to say, I said. I say it accurately, he confirmed. Not to frighten, to prepare. Because the difference between a farmer who knows a hard season is coming and a farmer who doesn't is not the hardness of the season. It's what you do before it arrives, I said immediately. The farmer's understanding. Yes, he confirmed. March 15th through 31st is not a punishment arriving for this generation. It is a season that is coming regardless, and the ones who are prepared will move through it very differently than the ones who were never told it was approaching. What kind of season? I asked. A harvest and a planting simultaneously, he said. Some things will come to completion. Some things will be asked to begin. And both the completion and the beginning will be harder for people who thought the season of hard things was behind them. Because they stopped preparing, I said. Because they were never told the preparing needed to continue, he said. 5 things are coming, he said. Let me show you each one. Why seniors? I asked. Why is this generation specifically at the center of what's coming? Because a farmer asks why before he acts. You don't treat a field without understanding why it needs treatment. Several reasons, he said. Let me give them to you plainly. Please, I said. The first reason, he said, is that this generation carries a specific kind of stored weight. Decades of unexpressed grief. Losses that were never processed because processing was not what they were taught to do. Relationships that were never fully repaired because repair required a vulnerability they were taught to avoid. Things said and unsaid that have been sitting in the body for 30 and 40 years. We carry a lot of old weight, I said. And that weight, he said, becomes physically and spiritually significant in a way it was not during the decades of active work. When the work slowed down, and it does slow down, for everyone, the weight that was managed through busyness becomes unmanageable. We don't have the work to outrun it anymore, I said. Yes, he confirmed. The second reason is that this generation is at the intersection of the most significant medical, social, and spiritual transitions simultaneously. The body is changing. The role in the family is changing. The relationship to purpose is changing. 3 enormous transitions at once, and very little cultural infrastructure for navigating any of them. Nobody told us how to do this part, I said. Nobody taught it, he confirmed. And the third reason, he said, is that this generation has something the younger ones desperately need and don't know how to ask for, and the seniors don't know how to offer. Wisdom, I said. And the specific courage that only comes from having survived the thing you're afraid of, he replied. The first thing coming, he said, involves the body. I am a farmer. My relationship with the body is practical. It is a tool. You maintain it, you work it, you accept its limits. You don't complain about it because complaining doesn't fix anything. That has been my operating philosophy for 7 decades. Tell me plainly, I said. Between March 15th and 31st, he said, a significant number of seniors will experience health events they were not expecting. Not all catastrophic. Not all requiring hospitalization. But significant enough that they will not be able to continue operating as though the body is what it was. A reckoning with the body, I said. A forced reckoning, he confirmed. For people who have been ignoring signals for months and sometimes years. The body has been communicating and the message has not been received because this generation was trained to push through signals rather than respond to them. We treat symptoms as weakness, I said. And treat the acknowledgement of decline as defeat, he said. Which means that by the time the body insists on being heard, in this window, it insists loudly. What kind of events? I asked. Cardiac events for some, he said. Significant falls for others. Cognitive symptoms that can no longer be attributed to tiredness. Chronic conditions that have been managed quietly suddenly requiring more than quiet management. Things that require help, I said. Things that require the admission that help is needed, he said. Which for this generation is frequently the harder part. Harder than the health event itself, I said. For many of them, yes, he confirmed. What do they need to do now? I asked. See the doctor they have been putting off seeing, he said simply. Before March. While the choice is still theirs to make voluntarily. The second thing, he said, is financial. A farmer understands financial ground better than most. I have felt the ground shift beneath this farm more than once. Drought years, commodity crashes, input cost explosions. I know what it feels like when the numbers that made sense last year stop making sense this year. Tell me what's shifting, I said. Several things converging in this window, he said. Cost structures that seniors built their retirement planning around are changing faster than the planning can adjust. Medical costs, housing costs, the specific inflation that hits fixed incomes harder than working incomes because there is no income increase available to absorb it. They're on fixed ground in a moving world, I said. Yes, he confirmed. And many of them do not know how exposed they are because they have been managing by not looking at the full picture. We don't like bad news, I said. So we don't always go looking for it. The financial ground shifting in this window will make the full picture unavoidable, he said. Expenses that were manageable become unmanageable. Decisions that were postponable become urgent. And the pride that prevented them from asking their children or their community for help, that pride will be tested significantly. They need to look at the numbers now, I said. Before the window forces the looking, he confirmed. Because a farmer who looks at a failing crop in June has options. A farmer who looks at it in September has fewer. What are they not looking at? I asked. Medical costs they are not accounting for, he said. Housing situations that are not sustainable long-term that they are treating as permanent. Savings that look sufficient until a single unexpected event makes them insufficient. They need to talk to their families, I said. Before the window opens the conversation for them, he confirmed. The third thing, he said, is the one that troubles me most to show you. I waited. Loneliness, he said. I expected him to elaborate immediately. He didn't. He let the word sit the way you let something sit when you want the person you're talking to feel the full weight of it before you add anything else. I know something about that, I said. My wife, Margaret, passed 7 years ago. I know what the house sounds like when the person who filled it is gone. I know you do, he said. Tell me about the seniors, I said. The loneliness that is coming in this window, he said, is not new loneliness. It is old loneliness that reaches a threshold. Loneliness that has been managed through routine, through busyness, through the particular stubbornness of a generation that was taught that solitude and self-sufficiency were the same thing. They're not, I said. No, he confirmed. And in this window, for a significant number of seniors living alone or living in proximity to family, but genuine connection to nobody, that managed loneliness stops being manageable. What does that look like? I asked. It looks like a decline that doctors will attribute to physical causes, he said. But the physical decline is secondary. The primary cause is the specific damage that sustained isolation does to a human body that was built for connection. People are dying of loneliness, I said. Accelerating toward their end, he said carefully, in ways that are not inevitable. In ways that a phone call, a visit, a meal shared regularly could interrupt. And the families don't know, I said. The families are busy, he said. And the seniors won't ask. Both sides waiting for the other to move first. Someone has to move first, I said. That is the message, he confirmed. The fourth thing, he said, will happen in families. What kind of happening? I asked. The specific conversation that has been avoided for years, he said, between seniors and their adult children, about things that were never said. About relationships that were never repaired. About the specific damage that one generation passes to the next through silence and pride and the belief that some things are better left alone. We believe that, I said. My generation. Leave it alone. Don't pick at it. And the result, he said, is that the wounds don't heal. They calcify. They become part of the structure of the family, present in every interaction, shaping every dynamic, but never named and therefore never addressed. What brings it to the surface in this window? I asked. The health events, he said, referencing the first thing. Nothing opens a family conversation like a health crisis. Nothing brings adult children back to the table faster than the sudden, unavoidable awareness that the time available for these conversations is not infinite. A brush with mortality forces honesty, I said. Or it should, he said. The tragedy of this window is that some of these conversations will happen in hospital rooms when they could have happened at kitchen tables. Some of them won't happen at all, I said. Some seniors will leave without the repair having been made, he said. And some adult children will spend the rest of their lives carrying the weight of what was not said. What do they need to say? I asked. The thing they have been waiting for the right moment to say, he replied. There is no better moment coming. The right moment is the next conversation. That's simple, I said. That's simple, he confirmed. And that hard, I added. And that hard, he agreed. The fifth thing, he said, will surprise them. What is it? I asked. Spiritual hunger, he said, arriving in people who did not expect to feel it at this point, or arriving in people who felt it their whole lives and walked away from it at some point and find it returning, more insistent than it ever was, in this window. Why surprising? I asked. Because this generation, he said, divided into two groups on the matter of faith. The ones who kept it maintained the church attendance, maintained the practice, maintained the forms. And the ones who left for reasons that were often legitimate, hurt by institutions, disillusioned by hypocrisy, too busy during the working decades, too tired. And both groups end up hungry, I said. The ones who kept the forms, he said, will discover in this window that the forms alone are insufficient. That what they maintained externally does not match what they're experiencing internally. That the comfortable routine of practiced religion is not the same as the genuine encounter they are now hungering for. And the ones who left? I asked. Will find the hunger arriving without invitation, he said, in the middle of the night. In the specific quality of a November morning on a piece of land that has been in the family for generations. In the question a 14-year-old granddaughter asks on a Sunday afternoon. I felt that land with extraordinary precision. Lily's question, I said quietly. Yes, he confirmed. What happens after everything, I said. The seniors in this window are going to need an answer to that question that is not a formality, he said. They're going to need a real encounter. And the real encounter, he said, is available. It has always been available. They just have to stop being too stubborn to receive it, I said. Yes, he said. Tell me what they do, I said. Practical. Specific. A farmer doesn't want a speech. Tell me what to plant before the hard season. He appreciated that framing. I felt it clearly. First, he said, see the doctor. Not eventually. Now. Before this window opens and the choice between voluntary and involuntary care gets made for you. The body has been signaling. Answer the signal. Second, he said, look at the financial picture honestly. Sit down with someone you trust, a family member, a financial advisor, your bank, and look at the actual numbers. Not the comfortable version. The actual version. Decisions made with accurate information are better than surprises managed in a crisis. Third, he said, make the phone call. The one to the adult child you have not spoken to honestly in years. The one to the friend you lost contact with. The one to the sibling where something went unresolved. March 15th to 31st will force these conversations for many people. The ones who have them before the forcing will have them on better terms. Fourth, he said, tell someone how you're actually doing. One person. Not fine. Not managing. Actually doing. The loneliness that is coming has a simple remedy that is made extraordinarily difficult by a generation that was trained not to apply it. Ask for help, I said. Say the true thing to one person who will receive it. He confirmed. And fifth, he said, return to the real question. Not the church attendance. Not the form. The actual question underneath all of it. The one that is waiting at the center of every quiet moment. Sit with it. Don't outrun it. The hunger is a direction. Follow it, I said. Follow it, he confirmed. I need something for the families, I said. The adult children. Because they are part of this too. Yes, he said. Tell me what they need to hear, I said. They need to hear, he began, that the window approaching is not a window they can observe from a distance. It will arrive in their parents' lives and immediately enter their own. Because their parents' crises become their crises, I said. Because their parents' unfinished business, he said, is frequently their own unfinished business, wearing the face of the previous generation. The family patterns, I said. The things that were passed down without being named, he confirmed. The way the father who could never say he was proud produced a son who could never feel he was enough. The way the mother who carried everything alone produced a daughter who doesn't know how to ask for help. The adult children have work to do too, I said. The adult children, he said, need to stop waiting for their parents to change first. The parent who could not ask for help at 70 has been unable to ask for help for 50 years. Waiting for them to start is not a strategy. The children have to move first, I said. The children have to make it safe, he said. To visit more, not out of obligation, out of genuine presence. To ask real questions and wait for real answers. To sit in the discomfort of a parent who doesn't know how to receive care and receive them anyway. And the conversation, I said. The one that hasn't happened yet. Initiate it, he said. Gently. Without an agenda. Not to resolve everything in one sitting. Just to open the door. Because the door, I said, may not be open much longer. That, he said quietly, is exactly the message. I thought the showing was complete. 5 things. Practical preparation. The message for families. I had what I needed to carry back, and I was already, in the way of a farmer, organizing it in my mind into something I could communicate plainly to people who needed to hear it. And then he asked me something that reached into 71 years of Kansas stubbornness and found the place where the stubbornness stopped being strength. Harlan, he said. Yes, sir, I said. Automatically. The way I had been raised to respond. Who have you been talking to out in that south field? He asked. I went quiet. My dad, I said. I know, he said. 11 years gone and I stopped. Still what? He said. Still need to tell him things, I said. When something goes right with the wheat. When I make a decision about the farm I'm not sure about. When Lily asks me something I don't know how to answer. You miss him, he said. Farmers don't, I started. Harlan, he said. Gently. Stopping the sentence before it became another wall. I let the wall come down. Yes, I said. I miss him every day. And you have not said that to anyone, he said. In 11 years. No, I said. And your son Garrett, he said. Does he know that you love him the way your father loved you, in the ways that were never said out loud? I felt something move through me that I do not have a word for. No, I said. He wonders, he said simply. I thought about Garrett leaning against the barn door with his arms crossed, telling me to retire the tractor. Not because he cared about the tractor. He wants to know I'm not going anywhere yet, I said. Tell him, he said. Deke found me. He told me later, sitting in my kitchen with his hands wrapped around a coffee mug, still visibly shaken 3 days after, that he had come across the field at 8 o'clock as agreed and found me lying on my back next to the irrigation line with my eyes closed and my hands at my sides. You looked peaceful, he said. That was the part that scared me most. Not the lying there, the peaceful. I was somewhere peaceful, I said. He called emergency services and performed CPR with the specific competence of a young man who grew up on farms where the nearest hospital is 40 minutes away and basic emergency training is not optional. The paramedics restored my heart at 12 minutes. I opened my eyes to the November sky and Deke's face above me and the winter wheat in the rows to my left and the specific cold clarity of the air. Welcome back, Deke said. Thank you for finding me, I said. You're welcome, he said. in the voice of a 26-year-old trying to hold himself together. "Deke," I said. "Yeah, you're a good farmhand," I said. "Your parents raised you right." He looked away, I think to prevent me from seeing his face. That evening I called Garrett. Not to tell him about the South Field, I would do that eventually. To tell him something I had not said in the specific way it needed to be said. "You're a good son," I said. I don't know if I've said that plainly enough. Silence on his end. "Dad," he said. His voice changed in a way that told me the sentence had arrived where it was meant to go. "I mean it," I said. "I know," he said. That was the first seed of the new season. I dictated this to Lily. She is 14, and she types faster than I do, and she sat across the kitchen table from me on 3 consecutive evenings while I talked, and she typed and occasionally stopped me to ask me to explain something in a different way. "Grandpa," she said on the second evening, "is this really what you saw?" "Every word," I said. "And Jesus really talked to you," she said. Not quite a question. The way she says things when she is testing whether something is solid. "As real as you sitting across that table," I said. She typed for a moment. "What was he like?" she asked. I thought about that honestly. "He knew every acre," I said. She looked up. "What does that mean?" she asked. "It means he knew everything," I said. "The good fields and the bad ones. The years the harvest was right and the years I made poor decisions. The conversations I had with your great-grandfather in the South Field when nobody was listening. He knew all of it," she said. "All of it," I confirmed. And he wasn't keeping score. He was just present to it. The way good land is present to everything that grows in it. She was quiet for a moment. "That's a good answer," she said. "Better than the one I gave you Sunday?" I said. She smiled. "Much better," she said. "I am sending this because the seniors in my community, in every community, are not ready for what March 15th through 31st is bringing. And I am a farmer. I know what it costs to be unprepared for a season that was coming whether you were ready or not. Prepare the ground now. The season is almost here." Harlan Busby, Salina, Kansas,